All right, it says we're live, but I don't know if we are till I hear from you. So if you're out there as soon as possible, type into the comment section and let me know if you can hear this, if the volume's okay, if the audio's okay, if the video's okay, if whatever else is okay. Let me know, and then we'll get going. Hello, everybody. This is one of my rare early afternoon, mid-afternoon, sometime afternoon shows. And I only do these because sometimes I have something to do in the evening, or because people message me all the time and they contact me and they say, hey, we like to watch your show. We're future people. We watch them in the future, but we never get to see them live because we have work, because we have something else. And so I'm here. I'm back at the office. We're back from Weatherford. Just got back a little while ago. Jennifer, my daughter, we picked her up at the airport from Alaska, so she's going to be visiting for a few weeks. So we're glad to be home. The McDonald's 24-hour McDonald's, hadn't had McDonald's in 30 years. 24 hours McDonald's challenge is over, and we'll talk about that too. All right, Pat, thanks for telling me that the audio and the video are great. Ethan, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. My name is Michael Bunker. This is Bunker Nation Show. I'm going to be your host for the evening. I'm glad you could be here. Come on, everybody, push on in. We'll see. I don't know. We may not get much of a turnout at this time, but I got stuff to do later this evening, so I had to do it now. And I wanted to do it while I had power. The sun's out, bright blue skies right now, so I wanted to go ahead and get a show in. All right, we're going to go ahead and do the box thing, and as soon as the boxing's over, we'll come back and talk. All right, Daniel's here and Aaron's here. Thank you for the welcome home. Glad to be here. If you're new to the show and you see me commenting on people's comments and you don't see their comments, that's because we are now on 6 platforms live. We are on 3 Facebook platforms. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube, and we're on Periscope, which is Twitter. Hoping to get some more. I'm hoping that Parler opens it up to where we can start live broadcasting on Parler. And I just started uploading. I'm going to start uploading the videos on BitChute. They won't be live, but I'll start uploading them, trying to do them the next day. Hello, everybody. Glad to see you guys. Glad I could be here early. Hopefully, this won't be too out of the ordinary for people. I try to do a show that's at a different time. And sometimes I've done them in the morning too, just so people have an opportunity to catch a live show. I'm here for you. If you guys have questions or comments, put them in the comment section as always. We have been traveling, and so I'm going to cover that a little bit. It's very warm. Aaron says it's warm in Michigan today. I'm sorry, my allergies are really bad. I got this thing. It's not for COVID. It's not for COVID. It's for cedar allergies. This is cedar allergy season. Pardon me. But and I'm down here amongst the cedars down here in my office. So I have this on when I walk around out here. And so you're going to see me rubbing my nose and scratching my face, and my face gets it the worst. Hopefully I'll be over it pretty quick, and I'm working on some things. Anyway, so we got to go on a little 2-day trip, day and a half trip up to Dallas, Fort Worth area to pick up my daughter at the airport. She was flying in from Alaska. We decided that it was a good time, since we were going to be on the road, to do my 24-hour McDonald's only for 24-hour challenge. And the only reason it's even partially interesting is because I really, really, really had not eaten McDonald's at all in 30 years. And most fast food I have not eaten in that long. But it served a couple of purposes. I want to talk about that because, and I know you guys know me. You know, I've been known to holler. I've been known to yell. Although it's all done in good fun, it's just a style. And then I say something, and then people get bent out of shape. People are already bent out of shape, but they get more bent out of shape. And so here's the thing. It really irritates me. It really irritates me when you do something different. You do something, and there's this whole thing. And by the way, this is one of the foundational legs of Karenism, of the Karenati. And people are like, but why? But why? And, I don't understand. I don't understand. I'll get to that in just a minute because this just happened. And so I decided, hey, I think it'd be kind of cool. I'm sitting here and I'm watching videos and I see people do these challenges and all this kind of stuff, and they get 1 million hits. They got 500,000 followers. They're making $20,000-$30,000 a month doing stuff. And I'm thinking, hey, I don't want to do that stuff. I don't want to be, I'm not going to eat 30 or 40,000 calories in one day, but I have not eaten at McDonald's. And here's one thing I've noticed over the last 20 years. I've noticed people that I like and respect actually eat at McDonald's, and it's a head scratcher to me. I understand it. I'm not stupid, but there's a disconnect when there's other restaurants around there that actually serve food. It surprises me that people choose to eat there. I thought, well, maybe since I was 7 years old or something like that, they've changed. And people would tell me, they would say, oh, their coffee is good. Oh, the rest of their food is bad, but eat the breakfast. And then someone's like, oh, you have to try the McRib sandwich. Oh, this sandwich is good and that sandwich is good. So after all of these years of me having a disconnect with other people, I just thought I could accomplish all of these things at one time. I could have a fun day, not fun for me, but fun for viewers who could watch me doing something that is obviously distasteful to me, that I have not done for 30 years. And I would also use it as research. Since I've been working out, since I've lost 105 pounds, since I get up at 3:50 in the morning and I engage in fitness, I thought it would be interesting to see what that kind of food did to my body for 24 hours. So it was research. It was fun. I'd love to get a video that goes viral and gets 1 million views. All of these fun things. And immediately I got people, and I explain why I'm doing it. I explain it's one day only. I explain that I haven't done it for 30 years, and I got people going on there, but why? But why? You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to die. Are you committing suicide? Give me a break. Give me a break, please. If you haven't been there every day for the last 10 months with me at 3:15 working out and exercising, and I'm not calling your house going, why are you such a fat ass? Why do you not do these things? Why do you do these? I watch your social media and I don't like what you do. I don't ever get on somebody else's wall, ever on Facebook or Twitter or anything else, and go, I don't get it. I don't get why you're such an idiot, why you're doing that. What is it about? And it's like I said, it's a foundation of Karenism. These people have this self-idolatry, apparently, where if you're not doing exactly what they're doing for the reasons they're doing it, there's nothing that can be amusing. There's nothing that can be fun. There's nothing that can be for research. So you can't just go, hey, I've done recently, I haven't ridden a horse, so I'm going to start riding a horse. But why? Oh my gosh, it's so irritating. It's going to feed in. I didn't mean to get right into the rant, but get your questions and comments in the comment section, and I'm going to get to them. So we were up in Weatherford, and my wife always, and I like it too, but my wife always wants to go to the Goodwill or to the thrift store because she likes cheap things. It's a great wife to have. She loves cheap things. And so she says, let's go to Goodwill. It's right across from the hotel. So we go over to Goodwill's. And so we're there, and I happen to be up towards the front. It's a big, we like the Goodwills in the big cities because they got great stuff. Our little town Goodwill's not so much, but in the big cities, they got great stuff. So I'm up in the front by the shoes because I always need shoes, and I'm walking, and I'm on a treadmill all the time, and I'm walking the land, and I'll do 20,000, 30,000 steps in a day. So I'm going to go through shoes. So I'd like, and I'm a preparedness person, I'd like to have some shoes put away. So I'm at the front looking at the shoes. So in this whole time, in the whole COVID thing, I have not run into a lot of the things I see. I haven't seen any of the pro or negative Karen mask meltdowns. I haven't seen them. It's not that they don't happen. It's just that I have not personally seen them. In my personal experience, the places I've been, the cities I've been to, most people are going about their own business. If they wear a mask, if they don't wear a mask, if they're, if somebody asks them to put one on, they generally put one on. I haven't had any of the hell no, you're this is the mark of the beast and I'm not going to do it. And I haven't seen anybody go off on people for not having a mask on. I had a mask on at Goodwill because it had a big sign on the door that said, wear a mask. So, you know, to me, it's not that big a deal. So I don't care. I put it on. I'm in there. I'm looking at the shoes, right? You got to picture this because I'm at the front gate, at the front door, kind of. So Karen comes in and she's checking out and she's gone. And I like these things, by the way. She has gone to the extent that she has the mask and it has the clear cellophane or the clear plastic. So I'm deaf, so mostly deaf. So I can't hear somebody when they have a mask on and they're trying to talk to me. And so I didn't realize it until a year or so ago how much I actually read lips, and it helps me to see somebody. And so I'm standing at the front, and the lady with the clear plastic thing, and she goes up to the front and she starts going off on the cashier at Goodwill because there's people in there without masks. She has one on. Theoretically, she should be protected. But this is a self-righteous person, and we're going to talk about self-righteousness more in a minute. Because I'm going to prove it in just a minute. But she starts going off, and it was just like this. She's like, but why? I don't understand. I don't understand why there's people in here without masks. It clearly says on the front door that you're supposed to have a mask on. And these people in here without masks. And she went on and on. And I'm just amused, and I'm watching this. And Forbes, don't get blocked. I'm just warning you right now because you're the biggest Karen I know. So just sit back and enjoy it. So she starts going off about the mask, and I'm just enjoying it. I didn't bring my phone out. I didn't say I'm going to record this. I'm going to make this lady go viral. She's just going off about the mask. And finally, after a while, the cashier lady, she picked up the microphone thing. And she's like, okay, everybody, make sure you have a mask on. Everybody, make sure you have a mask on. And she does an announcement. So Karen grabs her bags, and she had to walk by me to get out. And you can see her because the big clear plastic, right? She had the biggest smile on her face. She was so enjoying her own virtue signaling. I almost laughed out loud. I almost said, well, way to go, Karen. But I didn't. Do you see the comparison? Somebody doesn't like the fact that I spend one day eating bad food and I choose to do it. But why? I don't understand. I just don't. How many posts do you see on Facebook and they're like, I don't understand. You understand. Here's what you've given me a choice. I have to decide that you are either not honest or you're an idiot. Just because I don't agree with something doesn't mean I don't understand. What you really mean is you don't agree with it. And even if it should just be your own business that you don't agree with it, the whole Karen idea is everybody has to know you don't agree with it. I'm pretty sure you understand. When someone says, I don't understand why people like waffles. I just don't understand. Do you really not understand? There's things that I don't like, but I understand why people like them. This is kind of the leg that holds up Karenism. And so I wanted to point that out because I wanted to show you a comment I got on my YouTube video. You guys are watching me right now. You're probably on Facebook. You're probably on YouTube. You're probably on one of those formats. And I get comments all the time, and I get private messages all the time. You don't see all of them. But let me show you this, if I can find it. This is a message I got this morning, and I'll read it to you in case you can't. It's a little blurry. This is on my video, How We Do Stuff series, Staying Cool and Cool Drinks. And I have a whole series on how we do stuff. And it's like different things we do out here because we don't have power. I live off grid. Some of you may not know that. You're new. You didn't know I live off grid. I'm down here at the office and we have a small amount of, I'm running off like 3 batteries right now, but up at the cottage, we live totally off grid. So we make videos about how we do things and that we choose to live that way, not because it makes us better than anybody else. It does make us more prepared. It does make us more survivable and sustainable. And yet it's also a lifestyle choice. Some people prefer it. Our theme here at Bunker Nation is embrace discomfort. Why? Because some people prefer to be better prepared, to be better, more survivable, to have the other benefits that come from having suffered some discomfort. I understand that the way of the world today is you're just supposed to absolutely eliminate any discomfort so that you end up just this big obese mass named Forbes sitting in a big chair floating around with your Frosty and wearing the color of the day or whatever that is. So let's read this. This is Jonna, by the way. John, if you're out there, you win the Karen of the Year award. I get the following from the videos I've watched of you, and I want to impart the following message. I don't want to say something. I don't want to mention something. I want to impart it. I'm on a throne somewhere, and I'm going to impart the following message. Listen, deliberately choosing to live without, in quotes, reflects the following. Number one, false humility, and number two, self-righteousness. So if you choose to do without, let's just say this morning, you had the opportunity to have 8 donuts, but instead you had 2. That reflects self-righteousness and false humility. If you could have spent $1,000 on a pair of shoes, Imelda, and you didn't, instead you found some at the thrift store for $5, that's because you're self-righteous. And what's the other one? False humility. Just take everything to its logical conclusion. If you choose to live in a way where you are not as subject to interruptions, where you're not absolutely a slave to your own concupiscence and your, whatever it is or whatever's happening, and if they have a boil water alert because the water is poisonous and it doesn't affect you, or the power's out at the bank but it doesn't affect you at home, any of that stuff is self-righteousness. You understand these 3 examples that I've made are the same thing. There is this disease that's out there and it is self-righteousness. This meism, this self-idolatry, where if there's anybody out there that's doing something different than what I'm doing, I don't understand. You must be self-righteous. False humility. And here's the thing. This lady is angry. She walks through life angry. I can tell you almost everything about her life because I've run into Jonna before. There's Jonnas everywhere. They're really Karens. We used to have people when we dressed plain, and the only reason I'm not dressed plain now is because I can't afford to, because I've lost a lot of weight and I'm waiting for my weight to stabilize. But for right now, this is plain for us. I got this shirt for $1 or so at the thrift store because of my self-righteousness. So anyways, when we were dressed plain, these people would come up to us out of the blue, and they were already angry. They were already angry. And they would walk up to us, no introduction, no, I want to ask you a question, nothing like that. They would walk up to us and they go, do you think I'm a sinner? Is that what this is? They're already judging themselves. And I would get emails from people, and they were already defending themselves. They don't even know me. They don't know anything about what I think about anything. And they would write me an email and it would say, I saw your video where you were making bacon by hand, and we have to buy bacon at the store because my husband got transferred 14 times and I've got a bad liver and my children were born autistic and I don't have all this stuff and I can't just, I don't have millions of dollars to just move off grid. All right, Karen. Nobody asked you. Nobody judged you. No, I don't care. People would come up there and start a conversation with me like that. And I would say, I don't even think about you. You think everybody's thinking about you, but they're not. I was not this morning or any other day sitting there going through my Facebook list and looking at people going, I wonder what so-and-so thinks about my McDonald's, one day McDonald's thing. I wonder what so-and-so thinks about my clothing. I wonder if somebody feels condemned by the fact that we learn how to make drinks and be able to have cool drinks without refrigeration. Gee, I think what we're going to do is we're going to suffer through 15 summers of 105 degrees and winters below freezing. The reason why is so that I can convince everybody I'm better than them. I want people to feel shitty. That's what I want. You get it? This is a disease, and it's evident in our politics. It's evident in the conversations. It's evident in social media. It's all over the place, and it just makes me sick every time I see it. That lady walked in that Goodwill store, and she was feeling like low because there was nobody she could step on. There was nobody she could sit on her throne and look down on. And she walked in there and she decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get all these people straightened the hell out. There's people in here that aren't playing by the rules. They're putting us all at risk. I don't understand, but why? So there's my little mini rant for today. Think about what you're saying. When you say start a sentence on, I don't understand why people like maple syrup. You're not really saying that. That's not really what you're saying. You're either lying or you're stupid. And I hate to have that choice because I don't want to be uncharitable and think that you're stupid. I don't want to. And I'm talking about my friends here. All right. I'm talking about friends, people that I know. Don't take it personally. All right. If I know I will be in a store for a while, I just don't wear the mask. And if someone says anything, I tell them I have a lung condition. I just guess I don't. To me, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. If it says on that door, our policy is you have to wear a mask, and they're keeping up with the rules. In other words, if I walk in there and none of the employees have masks on and half of the customers don't have masks on, then I don't take seriously your rule. If this says no smoking, I'm perfectly fine with that. But if I walk in there and all of the employees are smoking and half of the customers are smoking and nobody cares, then I take that this is a loose rule. Right? But if that's what the people that own that business want to do, then I'm fine with that. I don't see it as some type of march towards the mark of the beast. I just don't. But at the same time, if it's the rule and nobody's keeping the rule, I understand you make rules because you want people to leave you alone. You just want to get along with your business. You're like, wear a mask. But then people come in, you're like, that's just the way things go. Like, let me roll up here. Daniel said, what makes Gookag the greatest of the century? I have no idea what you're talking about. The greatest of the century. Gookag. I don't know what Gookag is. I thought you meant gulag, but I don't know how a gulag would be the greatest of the century. You're gonna have to explain because I don't get it. Hello, Edinburgh, Scotland. Glad to see you. Are you going to gain all those 150 pounds right back now that you've tasted the joys of McDee's? No. McDee's was as bad or worse than I thought. And the video's forthcoming. I've got some work to do editing it, but I have committed myself to get it out. I don't wear a mask because I think it's necessary to provide some resistance. In Michigan, the obedience to it is pretty high, and there are very good reasons not to wear them, not least to stand up to the increasing government overreach. I don't buy that. I understand if that's what you want to do. I don't buy it just because, there are Braveheart moments, and there's a lot of things we could do to stand up and resist. I don't think anybody's looking at you as Mel Gibson in Braveheart because you decided not to wear a mask. It doesn't bother me to wear it. It doesn't bother me not to wear it. If I can get away with not wearing it, I do it. But I certainly don't. There are things that I do that are risky, that are standing again. And this show is one of them. And saying a lot of the things that I say and that I've said for the last 20 years, not wearing a mask isn't one of them. And I'm not demeaning anybody who feels like that's a form of resistance. I just think that for something to be a legitimate form of resistance, other people have to see it that way. And the only people I've seen seeing that way are people that generally don't resist in any other area of their life. So, and that's not saying that about you. I understand having a distaste for doing something useless for the sake of virtue signaling. I'm with you. I'm with you right there. At the same time, if I want to go in and get a caramel macchiato, and I don't, at McDonald's, and that's where they sell them and they own that business, and I want one, I can make a decision to not go in there, or I can make a decision to play by their rules. And since I'm mostly a believer in freedom, I believe that people that own businesses have the right to do with their business what they want. I also don't believe that state governors have the right to do mandates via fiat rather than and bypassing the legislatures and all that kind of stuff. But you're right. Not going out much is another option. Bob says self-denial leads to joy. Sounds odd to a society into self-indulgence. That's right. Jana's comment was so absurd. I don't think that I've seen any that absurd in a really, really long time. Not only unreasonable, but absurd. And it absolutely showed a internal anger and dissatisfaction with herself and her lifestyle and the way that she lives, to the point that she actually seeks out people who she feels like condemns her. One of the great statements, I don't remember who said it. It may have been Francis Schaeffer, Sir Francis Schaeffer, the great philosopher and theologian. But and I'm going to paraphrase, and I've used it quite a lot over the years, and that is that when you are actually living your life in accordance with some code outside of yourself, some moral code, for example, your religious faith, and you actually do live that way, and people do see the righteousness of Christ through you or whatever, they feel condemned merely because you exist. The fact that you exist condemns them. Jana feels condemned because I exist, because she feels like she wants to go through her life being completely self-indulgent, and that there's absolutely no benefit whatsoever to any type of resistance, as Aaron talks about, resisting our carnal nature, resisting our dependency, resisting our susceptibility to interruptions, resisting all of those things. The other benefits of this type of self-denial is the fact that you become a resource to other people. That's not virtue signaling. That is not self-righteousness. The fact that I would rather be able to help my neighbor than to be a victim with my neighbor and both of us completely helpless does not make me arrogant and self-indulgent. It just doesn't. And it's ridiculous for somebody whose religion obviously is self-indulgent to accuse me of what exactly she's doing. And so like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I don't think, and I've come up with I've seen some crazy people out there. Crazy. I had a doctor contact me, and he said that because I was actually just saying the verses about Christians being separate from the world, I was actually just quoting the verses, that smacked of white supremacy. He couldn't explain why in any rational way how possibly that was white supremacy. But so I've run into crazy before. I've run into people who have their own internal dialogue, and they think that everybody else is having that dialogue, and they immediately start in the middle of a sentence with the thing that was going on in their head, and then they get upset when you point out that you weren't inside their head, so you have no idea what they're talking about. So I've been through the crazy. Jana takes the cake. She is walking Karen crazy. All right. Uki says Gulag Archipelago. Well, I think he says Gukag, and I think he meant Gulag, but I don't understand anything about the rest of the sentence. Did Daniel get off here? Is he not out there? The greatest of the century. I don't understand how that applies to Gulag. So I understand what Gulag Archipelago is, but I don't understand he meant Gulag, but I don't know what he meant by the rest of it. The book Gulag, I said that the book was the best of the century. It very right likely could be, but I don't remember saying that. And most likely probably is one of the most important books of the century. All right, I think you probably took most important as best. But why I think it's the most important book of the century was because it gave us a layout, a blueprint of how this form of Marxism and socialism takes control, the type of interior terror that it causes, and how the government was able to manipulate people using terror and group dynamics. I think it was a catalog of that historical period in time. It's the most in-depth series of, I think he interviewed over 500 people, 600 people who went through it, the tactics that were used and all of those things. And that's why I think it's the most important, because I think that societies in general, because of total depravity, the fact that humans are born totally depraved, that they pass through a series of experiences, and those societies in general tend towards socialism and Marxism eventually before they self-destruct and everybody dies. And our society is passing through that right now. It can be resisted for a while, but I think this society is moving now at a very, very breakneck pace towards socialism and Marxism, which makes that book, Gulag Archipelago, and that series much, much more important, so that people can understand how it looks and they can see it coming and they can deal with it. What do you think is the driving force behind those who want to move away from all of our freedom or take away our freedom? It's demonic in a sense, in that there are spirits and principalities in the realms that move people towards certain behaviors. It's actually a natural condition of the fallen man. So man, outside of being redemption, outside of being converted, naturally moves towards slavery for himself and others. That's his natural gravity is towards hell and towards death. Those who hate God love death. And so it's his natural gravity. Cults and groups like this, that's their you wonder why these cults end up with mass suicides and things like that. It's there's demonic influence, but man naturally will move that direction on his own. His gravity is that direction. He has to be interrupted. We don't do righteousness. We don't have righteousness without our natural proclivity being interrupted and overthrown. It's an anti-gravity force. It's something, a power that has to work in opposite of our natural gravity. I said that Gulag is the greatest book of the 20th century. You could be right, but I'm gonna say I don't think I think I said it was the most important book of the 20th century. If I said it's the greatest book, I certainly meant it was the most important. You'll have to show me why, and I just explained why. I think I just got your comment. So I think there are demonic influences in some people, that some people are inhabited by the demonic, and they act according to those principles. But the natural man, and all you have to do is if you know children, the natural man operates, and if you had children, you know this, on a corrupted sense of justice. If you have two children and one of them has a toy and the other one wants it, he takes it. Unless he's taught differently. If he's not taught differently, he tries to take it. If his toy is taken, he seeks justice. He goes to the parent. He either tries to take it back himself to impose his own justice, or he goes to the parent and he says, Robbie took my toy, because he wants the parent to impose justice. Now, the same child will do the exact same thing. He will, based on his own nature, he will take a toy from somebody else, and then he will be upset at that person if they go tell mom and dad that he took the toy. This is the natural state of man. They have a corrupted sense of justice. They never steal the toy and go on their own without any teaching whatsoever, go, I shouldn't have stolen this. Or if they're corrected, they don't naturally apologize and feel true remorse and sorrow for it. Likewise, if they steal something from somebody else, or if somebody else steals something from them and they feel bad that someone stole from something else, doesn't make them not steal from somebody else while they're children. They just do it. That's their natural proclivity. They have to be children have to be taught to do good things. And when they do good things on their own, naturally, they do it for corrupted reasons. They do it because of how it makes them feel or some other reason, not out of any inner sense of righteousness. This is the nature of man. We're all that way. So when you see Republicans acting a certain way during the 8 years of Obama and having "not my president" signs and all this kind of stuff and impeach bumper stickers everywhere you go and all that kind of stuff. And then you see the Democrats acting the same way a few years later, exact same words, exact same, not exact same behavior. They didn't actually try to impeach Obama, but and then the thing flips and all of a sudden Democrats are now back doing what the Republicans were doing just a day later. That's children. They're children acting according to their natural proclivity. They don't sit there and go, "We didn't like it when you did that, so we're not going to do that." They don't do that. That takes righteousness, and righteousness is not available to them. Aaron says the only way to be creative is to deny yourself. That's right. Exactly right. From just sitting back there and indulging in all the creations of other people. It's that. It's also denying yourself the other things that you could be doing during that time. And so it's not just the creations of other people, but I could be indulging right now in the beautiful day that's outside. I could be indulging in just spending time with my daughter who just got here from Alaska. There's a lot of things that I could be doing. And my pay for doing this is pennies. I literally, if there's no super chat money, nobody donates or anything like that, this video in the next 30 days will make about 57 cents. Maybe less, maybe 43 cents in the next 28 days. So it's a sacrifice, and it's self-denial, and I could be doing something else. I could be picking up cans on the side of the road and actually making more money. All right. War Dog Heim says, I've determined that people who want you to live the way they want you to live are just crazy. True. Something snapped in their little brain, and anything outside narrow parameters of acceptance is a threat. And I think it goes deeper than that. I think that there's revolutions in human culture. And even people that were not regenerate 50, 60, 100 years ago didn't have this obsession with forcing other people to live like them or to look like them or to do the things that they do or to think like them, mainly because they were too busy and they were trying to feed themselves. So in a time where it's necessary for you, your wife, your grandmother, your granddad, the nuclear family and the children all to pull together to work just to get by, just to make sure that you have enough to eat, to make sure that people are comfortable, to make sure you have clothing to wear. You don't have time to be going to stores and spending a lot of time trying to enforce some type of dress code on the rest of the world or anything like that. Not that stuff didn't happen, and it happened in very notable cases. Little House on the Prairie. But you're right. This type of brokenness, this type of craziness is multiplied in a society where you have affluence and you have people that are bored. They're boring and they're bored. There's no satisfaction because they don't do anything. They don't create anything. They don't serve any real purpose. And so they walk around angry. They're angry all the time. And they're angry that they can't get the world to conform to the image of themselves. And so God in the beginning made us in his image, after his own image. And these people, being gods to themselves, now have determined that they are going to remake mankind in their own image. That's their goal. That's what Jana's goal in life is. She just doesn't know it. It hadn't come to her conscious mind. She's angry as hell that there's somebody out there that's living different than her. Now, yes, if I was sitting out there with beads and sharp glass, flagellating myself and walking around on my knees till I bleed and carrying a cross across the United States and all these things just to get attention, just because I want to show people how righteous I am, she might have a point. Making a cool drink is not that. That's what it's exactly not. All right. There are people who only feel normal when they're repressing someone else. That is the Karen foundation. Exactly what I was talking about. It's the leg that holds it up. If they're not repressing somebody, if they're not trying to conform society into their own image, if they don't like what you're doing, or they even like it, but they don't think that you should be doing it, then, and by the way, I missed your War Dog Heim. I missed your super chat. I don't know when it happened, but it didn't show up. There it is. I'm gonna pop it up there. Thank you for the super chat. That's the way we get to keep doing this, and I appreciate it because I have bills to pay. So yeah, you know that's exactly true. One good thing that came out of communism in Yugoslavia, where I was born, is that lots of outdoor gyms and basketball courts, football pitches, etc., were built. They are here to this day, absolutely. And I think a lot of the that kind of stuff is. I think a lot of great art. I think a lot of great poetry and a lot of great music and things like that came out of any times of repression. Human beings will tend to occupy themselves in ways that are a little bit more creative. What books and music did you introduce your children to in the early years? All the books. I have a huge library, and so one of the book series, and I'm going to try to think of the guy's name. There's a huge historical series. Somebody out there is going to know what I'm talking about. It was a guy, he wrote these history, like the War of the Roses and the European 30 Years War and all this kind of stuff. There was one book, and it was called The Green and the Gold, I think. There's like 50 or 80 or 100 of these books. I can't think of the guy's name, but they're all hardbacks about yay thick, and that was they're historical novels. And so our children introduced those. I read my own books to the children. I wrote books for my children and read them chapter by chapter. They learned to read on their own. I mean, they learned to read books that they wanted to read out of my library and all that kind of stuff. Music, all over the board. I introduced them to everything that I love, and then they could pick and choose. And so some of them like my music, which is generally, I love jazz. I love Dixieland. I love old school jazz. I love Texas country or red dirt music, which is more folk style. I love, the people that have been dying this year: Jerry Jeff Walker, Guy Clark, John Prine, all of those guys all died this year. Billy Joe Shaver. I introduced them to all that music. And so they grew up listening to a pretty eclectic mix and types of music, and then they kind of followed what they enjoy, and some of them still like that stuff. Don't worry about it. His super chat is broken. I'm patient. Realizing that you're in fact capable, self-denial, suppression is a massive sin to society. That's exactly right. I'm a particular irritant to these people, and I don't mean to be self-congratulatory or to pat myself on the back. But I think it's evident to most people that I could be making a lot of money, whether it's in business or whether it's in corporations or entertainment or something. I have a lot of skills, and I could be making a hell of a lot of money. And I have no problem with making a lot of money. I just want to do it the way that I want to do it, and I want to have fun, and I want to help people. And I spend a lot more time being more interested in helping people. And you could call that self-righteousness if you want to, but then going off and just doing something. And so I've had opportunities to make a whole lot of money, and have avoided those as much as possible. And so, if they end up making my movie and I make some money off of that, that'd be great. But it's not something that I went after. It's not something I pursued. I didn't go after Hollywood and say, buy an option on my movie. It's just something that happened. But you're right. When you actually do deny yourself in order to do something either that you love or that you love and it's going to help other people and all those things, then they get angry as all hell. You're exactly right. They got to keep up with the Joneses. And that's the thing that's so bizarre and crazy about Jana's thing, is that to see somebody else doing something that doesn't hurt you, that cannot, in fact, you had to seek it out. You had to go find it. And we've had people actually do that in the flesh. They actually had to come find us to judge us and find us unworthy. They actually had to do so. It's not like we were at their door knocking on the door. Hello, have you met our Savior self-denial? Have you met our Savior? Make your own bacon. We weren't bugging them. We weren't going out and trying to get them to asking them to do anything. I've had people that have emailed me and they've asked me questions about their life angrily because they want me to judge them. They want me to say something they're doing is wrong so they can go off. And I don't care. That's the thing. And they don't want to hear that either. I don't care about it. How does one do a super chat? Okay, if you're on YouTube and it looks like you are, all you have to do is go down there in the comment section, and there's a little area down there, and you should see a little $sign. You should be able to click on that. I'm not on YouTube, so I can't show you a picture of it. Somebody may be able to get a screenshot and post it. But there's a little bar of things you can do, and the little $sign is a super chat. You can click on that; it'll give you options. But thank you so much for asking. All right, Sin likes friends in groups. Daniel, ding, 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 wins the award. That is so true. It's why they try to get you to partake or to get you to walk away from righteousness. That's exactly right. All right, I'm a little behind you guys. You guys are having a whole conversation now. Hit the dollar bill sign in the chat. Everybody do it today. Let's just have a day where everybody hits the dollar bill sign and we see how much super chat we can get. It is sociopathy. It is narcissism. You're exactly right, Mark. It's exactly what they are. They're sociopaths. What is the male name of a Karen? It's Chad. And everybody keeps trying to make it something else, but it's Chad. And I'm sorry to Karen and Chad. I'm not talking about any individual person who has that name. But a male Karen is another way to say it. He's a male Karen. Will Durant is fantastic. Yes, we absolutely introduced our children to Will Durant. I've got the whole, I don't know if I get out of the way here, I got the whole Will Durant series here, plus his books on philosophy, the 11 book series on the history of the world. John Prine's fantastic. I don't know what Con Iggulden means. Diane, I don't know what that means. You have to help me out. Did you homeschool your children? Yes. Unstructured. We unschooled. And basically our main goal was just to teach them how to learn and to seek out that they can know anything they want to know and to seek out. Danielle taught them the basics, basic math, basic English, and all those type of things. And then they were set loose with a huge library and a whole world of information they can. And all of my children are very intelligent. They're good writers. They're good workers. They're well appreciated by their employers if they have them, and they're all very advanced in their survival and sustainability. Yeah, we did unstructured homeschool. They did have a time period, or while they were young, where they would sit down at the table and they had it's not called an itinerary, it's a school plan. They had a plan and all that, but then later on, as they got older, they did a lot of farm work. And then they did a lot of reading on their own, and anything they wanted to seek after, they wanted to learn about, they knew how to get the books. I've got maybe 11 or 12 encyclopedias of all of different ages, the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. And of course they've got Google, etc. All right, you guys, we're at 48 minutes. It went by like that. Con Iggulden writes rather detailed historical fiction. Yeah, that's not him, but that's good to know. I'm trying to think of the guy. Let me just do a Google search real quick. I think it's The Green and the Gold. Nope, that's not it. I don't remember. Maybe it's The Orange and the Green. Book. Yes, this is it. Hold on. Tale of Boyne and Limerick by G.A. Henty. I'm my browser lost I just had a huge technical freeze up. G.A. Henty. I typed it in the comment section. I want unstructured homeschooling, but hubby wants it very structured with a heavy push for university. It's a different philosophy. Ours was we did not encourage university just because we know that is the seedbed of communism and Marxism wherever they go for the most part, unless you're going to send them to some type of private school. And turning our young people over to our enemies to educate them is how we got where we are. That's why they're in the streets right now. That's why they're burning stuff up, because we handed them over to a bunch of socialists in the universities. But that's personal lifestyle choice. I don't have any problem as long as somebody's grounded and you teach them the things they need to know before they go, and you teach them exactly what's going to happen to them, how they're going to be brainwashed when they get there. They can resist it. All right, everybody. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm sorry about that little glitch. I appreciate the super chat. As always, if you miss super chatting while I'm live, you can always go to michaelbunker.com and you can donate there. Just found out this morning that we have the Stripe donations, which are set up on michaelbunker.com. All you do is go to michaelbunker.com, and somewhere around here, there's a button that says support or subscribe. You can click on that, and we use Stripe to handle the donations, and you can do a monthly thing. And they've been making me wait 6 to 10 days to be able to get that money. We can get it immediately now. So that's fantastic. All right, everybody. As always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Willie Williams. I appreciate that. Willie came through in the clutch just as we were closing out. As always, appreciate all of the super chats. They really help us keep going. We got a lot of bills we got to pay around here on this format stuff. All right. So if you would hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Everybody go to YouTube after we're done. If you're watching this on Facebook, you're watching this on Periscope, you're watching this on Twitch, you're watching this later on BitChute or wherever you're watching it, go to YouTube, find Michael Bunker. It's easy to do. Just type in Michael Bunker and I'll come right up. Find this video, go down into the comment section and leave a comment. Subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notification. We need 110 more subscriptions to hit 2,000. So share. Appreciate you guys. God bless you, Lord willing. I will see you again. If not tonight, not tomorrow, it might be the next day, but I will see you when I see you. I love you all. God bless, and I'll see you soon.